that we purchase this property because you feel that it's no longer, that it's not that you're feeling, but in order for it to, for you to be made whole. I just think that this is something that, you know, our attorney need to be dealing with other than us as a council, because this is beyond our scope, especially when it's turned over to the state. And
if you're finished, I agree wholeheartedly with everything everybody's saying. I think Mr. Sessions made the best opinion, best decision based on what he thought was right at the time. And I mean, I fully understand and back to what his actions there. He's trying to do the right thing. But just like somebody told me years ago, if I get pulled over on the side of the road and an officer's giving me a speeding ticket, I'm not going to win that court case on the side of the road. So I think that this is probably not the best venue to sit and hash all this out here tonight. I think that some private meetings need to be had between homeowner, rentee, the city of Live Oak, and then if they want to include their council member, I think that's Miss, right? Aren't you there? And those type of things. So that would be my suggestion. I'm not saying that's not the law, but that would be my recommendation, is for you guys to have a sit down and kind of start hashing this out, because it's not, the communication seems to not have been perfect with no, you know, the email being sent or not received, whatever the case may be. But there seems to be some steps that need to be taken, and that needs to happen probably in a more private setting, to where you guys can get more conversation. And because I mean, quite frankly, it's not going to be solved here tonight. I think
we know that. It was more just what is the next step.
Sure, I understand.
You know, and the money, just to respond with the money that's been spent, I guess some of that they have, and Larry put us up in housing, but otherwise the work was done all on the house. We didn't get anything for the items.
I understand.
The work was done knowing that the problem wasn't fixed, so it keeps happening. So
Right.
it's kind of like,
And
money's been spent.
I am sympathetic to everything, but I think, like I said, the venue is going to have to be a different venue to.
100%.
But yeah.
yes.
So one more comment.
Sure.
So the decisions I made was based on expedience, because I've dealt with insurance. I've got a roof problem at my own home that I've been waiting for months for them to come out and do anything with my roof, my personal roof from the last storm. So I feel for them, and the reason that I made the decisions when I did to go ahead and try to make them whole was based on expediency, because when you get insurance companies, and nothing bad against lawyers, but when you get lawyers and insurance,
It takes a long time.
it takes a long time. And these people, two different sets of people here were out of a place to live. So I took it upon myself, and if the council wants to fire me over that, that's fine. I think I made the best decision I could make at the time to try to help them.
We're not gonna go that.
Sessions, I'm sorry.
We're not
I'm
gonna
an
go that.
insurance adjuster. I'm certified in 6 different states. And we have a time period that we have to respond and act. I understand the goodness of your heart, but when it comes down to making business decisions or deciding about things such as this that affects taxpayers' dollars, we have to be more cognizant of that there's a process. We pay a premium for insurance. They will send somebody out by law. They have to send somebody out in so many days or so much in a length of time to address your situation. Putting these people up and waiting until they send an adjuster out to look at that and determine was it our fault, or was it the state fault, or whose fault was it, or was it covered peril? So, saying that to say, it's done what has been done, but we just can't solve this issue here as a council because it has moved beyond.
So I would recommend that you schedule a meeting with Mr. Sessions, and then allow, if council needs to be represented, then counselor. That'll be my recommendation.
Councilwoman, is this her district?
Yes.
Okay. Please be there.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
In closing, I can tell you this thought it wasn't mine. Okay?
Understand.
I can tell you that it wasn't.
I don't think that was part of the question. I don't think that was.
All right.
All right, next up on the, number 5, Mr., I think it's Joe Carroll, is that correct?
Yes.
Curbing? Yeah, that'll be good. Thank you, sir.
I'm Joseph Carroll, 904 Pine Avenue, Southwest. I have an idea to propose. This is a total different direction from every topic that's been discussed, everything tonight. So I understand that this is going to be an extremely low priority in my heart with everybody. So please don't think that I'm making light of anybody.
No.
But the curb, and this is only for one direction of traffic, literally. The curb at the corner of 11th Street and Ohio Avenue, also Highway 129, I don't believe this is really a city manager's issue, but I got to start my idea somewhere. So I'm hoping that maybe the city might look into it. Lord knows I could be barking up a tree, I understand that. But tractor trailers, when they turn this corner, hit the curb, and they hit the curb all the time. They come dangerously close to cars trying to turn, etc. Nobody's trying to do anything wrong. It's just that it's a dangerous curb. And my proposal is if we can get the DOT guys, the state or whatever, or whoever it is whose jurisdiction this would be, if we can get them to actually redesign this curb, like lower it to where the 18-wheelers could actually drive over it a little easier without causing all the traffic issues. I think it would be a win-win for everybody. The drivers, the regular traffic, the truck drivers, etc. would benefit if we could redesign this curb more truck driver friendly. So it's just my idea.
Yes, sir.
We had a meeting planned with DOT, actually on the 22nd. They've moved it down the road, but I'll bring this up to them because the DOT, that's State Highway 129,
Right.
so we have to go through them to make changes like this. But thank you for this.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
yes, sir, thank you. All right, I have Mr. Jeff Bradford. Are you going to wait till 6I?
Yes, sir. I'm going to wait to be last on the top of all, sir.
All right. Mr. Keith Bruder?
Keith Broders, 201 Ranchero Street, Northwest, here in Live Oak, Florida. The thing I want to talk about is words. There are two words that have caused us a big problem today. Earlier today, we stood and we pledged allegiance to the flag and to the republic, not to the democracy. And so over the years, words have been twisted, and I think lawyers had something to do with that, but the words have been twisted so that the meaning of the intended meaning of our founding fathers has been completely distorted. In the preamble of the Constitution, it says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." A union is not a state. A union is a collection of states, not one country, not one entity. And yet when Abraham Lincoln invaded the South, he said, "I'm going there to preserve the Union." Well, that was a lie. He didn't go there to preserve the Union. He went there to take the rights of the states away from them. He wanted to create a new nation, and he did not want to preserve the Union. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at what he said in the Gettysburg Address, he talked about the birth of a new nation. The Civil War was fought to create a new nation and to disband the old Union of States. This is something that's not being taught in the schools. We're taught we're a democracy. We're taught that Abraham Lincoln was a hero. A person will do the time and study it out, they'll find out that these things are not necessarily true. Rather than accepting the things you're taught, think, ask questions, do your research. You'll find the correct answers. I'm going to be teaching a class on Monday, August 26th, 6 o'clock here in this facility. It's going to be a lecture / discussion, the topic being how our republic was turned into a democracy. That's one of the main topics. Another topic we're going to talk a little bit about is Kamala Harris eligible to run for the presidency? I think we all probably know the answer to that, but it doesn't seem to make any difference about that.
Yes,
Well, then come to my class and explain that to everybody. I'd appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I sure will.
Glad.
I sure will.
All right, thank you, Mr. Broders.
Yes, sir.
All right, number 8, Mr. Dana Berman, you wait until 6I also?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Our next public speaking request, Lawson Watley, in reference to Lake Mary. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Lawson Watley. I live at 144 Van Buren Street. This is right down right over there. Lake Mary, as you know, is a lake. It's right over here. It's well known for in the area for people who lived here for all their lives. I haven't been here very long. I've only been here 11 months, so I'm new to the area. And so when I purchased my home, my plot plan says I was not in a floodplain. Okay? So that being said, I want to know is that a lake or is it a holding pond? There's a difference. And it's really not a lake, it's a pond. It's not big enough to be a lake. So that being said, all the water from Van Buren Street coming from 129 down, White Street going that way, and off of, what street you live on? Elvington comes over into that pond. So that means to say here, since we had about 18 inches of water the other day, I had 4 feet of water in my backyard. It came up under my house. I live in a house that was built in 2001. I mean 1901, I'm sorry. 1901, so it's been there for quite a while, 121 years. So, 123 years. So the ground under there hadn't seen water in forever. I'm not real sure what it's going to do when it starts drying out and how it's going to settle. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to address that. Are we going to address that pond? It's full of junk, okay? Right now it's full of algae and it's full of weeds, so there's not a lot of water, place to put water anyway. And now it's full of all the garbage that's just floated in from everybody's house, everybody's neighbors, down their streets, is in that pond. It looks like a daggum sewer pit. So I would like it and appreciate it if someone, like you guys had a city engineer come out and look at the property. They actually called my wife a liar because she told him it was to come up 4 foot. She showed him where it come up to, and the guy just wouldn't believe her. The lady across the street told him the same thing, and he didn't believe her. And then the guy at my next door neighbor's house flooded. He had 2 feet of water at his house, and Miss Gladys had water under her house, I know for sure. And she had neighbors around her that was under the house. It had never come up that high before. I had set a generator there in case I lost power, but I had to move my generator because it was been underwater. So I just want to know what we're going to do to address those issues. I've heard that they're going to come and dredge that thing out. They're going to clean it out, make it deeper, which it needs to be deeper if it's going to be a holding pond. It needs to have a lift station over there to be able to get water out. It needs to have at least a Vega level transmitter to keep it at a certain level. I'm an engineer, so I know a little bit about it.
Sounds like you do. We have to do everything with Warner Water Management.
Yes.
We've already applied to them, and they have given us the ability to clean it out, because over the years, silt things run in there, which make less.
It's full now.
Less capacity. So we do know we are going to be allowed to do that, and we're going to change how it comes off of Helmiston onto the throughway there to Lake Mary. I don't know if it's a lake or a holding pond either myself.
It's,
Jail, don't we have?
right now it's a holding pond because water runs off the streets into
Don't
it.
we
It's on
have
the map of the lake.
I know.
that Don't we have a pipe at the end of it that takes it somewhere else?
There's 2 go-away holes on it.
Two on. So the amount of, the level of the water within the entire, town right now,
Right,
it's one of those deals. But we also have been working with engineers on the bigger problem of live oak this last week, and I've been with water management today. I spoke to Governor, I spoke to Corey Simon, I spoke to Kat Kamick and to Marco Rubio about this last Wednesday and Thursday. So this has been an ongoing problem for a long time. I'm brand new in this job, and I'm not gonna let this go until we fix the problem.
right.
So,
I mean,
it's not
it's
very.
gonna- It's going to
not-
continue and stay.
Not a great thing for you to hear at this point, but we will work on this and we will get this thing fixed.
Well, it will always turn around and bite you in the butt every time we have our things off.
I understand that. And that's
Till we
why
address it.
I've been
I
so
mean-
adamant with the governor, about this issue, because I'm tired of them sending resources to Live Oak to help us every time we get wet.
Yeah.
I'd rather them not have to send resources here, so I want them to help.
I don't
fund
want to
it.
have to come up here and talk to you about it, because you shouldn't even have to hear from me. I bought a house over here to make it, try to help, to make the town more, I guess, lovable.
Yes, sir.
I try to improve the neighborhood, to make the neighborhood look better, but when you have stuff come in and tear up what you just got money to fix, it's kind of depressing.
That's it.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I know his house and I know where he lives, and I was surprised for water to get that far. But I have 2 fans still running under my house, and they've raised my house up, 4 or 5 blocks? I'm sitting up yonder high. And I've got fans running under there because I was almost flooded to my floorboards. I'm with him.
I could see fish off my steps.
Yeah.
There were fish in my yard, and crawfish and all kinds of stuff.
Will we have to wait a long time for this to happen, or are we gonna get flooded again before?
Well, I don't know how long it's gonna be. I've got, I got a hold of the governor last week and people from the
Where's
DC. But, government, if it was me, just like the previous problem that has come up, I'd act immediately. Sometimes, some people think that's not the right thing to do, but I don't like to see things, I don't like to kick the can down the road. I wanna fix something. I have a plan to fix it. It's to get funding from the state federal government to be able to do it because we don't have the money.
Yeah, because in 1964, my mom was in the hospital. My daddy waded water to get to the hospital through right where we're being flooded today. 64, that was 60 years ago, and we're still doing the same thing.
My biggest issue is, what are we gonna do about the trash in there? Can we get the trash out? Because it used to look, at least, right now it's a spring full of algae. Nobody put anything there to kill the algae in it. But it's full of barrels.
We're just behind the hurricane, so we're still in.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
And I appreciate it. We will work on that. If I gotta get a boat out there myself and a rake, we'll get it cleaned out.
Well, I think that JL has what we need to put in it to get the algae out, don't you, JL?
Yes, ma'am.
He just needs a boat, and he needs to mix it. and
We
he
put
needs
it
to
in
put
2
in
weeks
there.
before the storm,
Yeah, that's a
so
good
it
thing you
didn't do
did.
no good.
I agree.
Yeah, 'cause we had that algae all over everything on our house and all, it came up in my garage. Good thing I took everything off the floor so I didn't have anything on the floor.
So I'm gonna have to be the bad guy, Mr. Watley.
I know.
We've gone way past the 3 minutes, which is not your fault, but we understand, and I can assure you, Mr. Sessions and the Public Works Director are aware of it, and unfortunately, you're gonna hear it a lot tonight. It comes down to funding and dollars to fix these problems. We're aware of most, or if not all, trust me, at least we are now if we weren't before this storm. So, yes, sir.
I just wanted to put it on your radar.
Yes, sir. I would appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Sessions, you said that we're waiting for funding from the federal government to fix
I
this.
spoke to them and asked for funding.
Mhm.
So I hear the governor and Corey Simon are on board, and I talked to Kat Kamick and Marco Rubio the very next day. They see our plight, but you know how the wheels of government turn. They make it say, sure, we're gonna do this, but they won't even talk about this till next January.
But that is to fix all of our areas in the city of
I
Live
plan
Oak?
on fixing all of Live Oak with an engineering fix, but it's gonna take a lot of money. But I think we finally got their attention by the discussion we had last week.
Including Second Street.
Just, I
All.
said all.
I just put
So the word all.
that in because I wanted to make sure.
I think too that probably we're gonna be facing a lot of the same, type question and responses, so I'm going to just ask that we can address some of these in, item 6A. Also, we probably are gonna wanna do a workshop. I know we've got workshops scheduled, probably out too many already, but we're gonna keep doing workshops and probably workshop some of this stuff so that we can, you know, kind of go over with and help to add and identify stuff to Mr. Sessions' plan as a council, so.
I
And
think,
that's great for me, but for the people out here, you know, they need to get their concerns aired.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do right now is to.
And I want to say one more thing and then I'll hush. I was told by a pretty reputable person that money was at Swanee River Water Management, has been there for a little while, that would, to fix Lake Mary.
I don't know that for a fact.
I don't know that for, I haven't been down there and asked them because I don't go over there and see it.
They have a lot of money for a lot of different things but they can only use so much where they're supposed to use it. So, I don't know that they actually have it. They have some funding from the state to do a lot of different projects, but we do know that they've already planned for us to clean up Lake Mary and make it deeper.
All right, we're going to go on to the next individual, Mr. Billy Golightly. You indicated you would want to speak on ordinance 1514. Would you want to wait until that item?
Fine.
Okay. All right, next was Mr. Jeff Shalhoub. You had the Park Street. Were you wanting to wait until item 6I as well? All right, perfect. Miss Anita Williams.
Good evening. I don't know where to start. I had a list of things to talk about, but after hearing Ms. Evans and Mr. Tim, I was just appalled by what they went through. And I think one thing I want to talk about is, a lot of you all are new, but it seems like Live Oak always works from a defensive position instead of an offensive and a preventative position. So you're always